Hey, we have a big brand keyboard maker coming out with a low-profile mechanical keyboard that doesn't suck. Or does it? I wasn't planning on reviewing this keyboard initially as I felt it wouldn't be that exciting, but there's a lot of people interested in it and I've tested quite a few low-profile mechs over the years, comparing them to one another. So I had to do something. I've now spent some time with the Mx Mechanical Mini from Logitech and it comes loaded with super desirable features, as well as some that aren't as much. So let's see what it's all about. Alright, so this keyboard is mostly plastic with an aluminum top plate. The quality is overall okay. It's not your full aluminum custom keyboard, but it's alright for what it is. It has flip-out feet providing 2-angle options with large rubberized pads for a good grip. There's a switch at the back to turn it on and off, a status LED light, and a USB-C port that only supports charging. However you want to use this keyboard, it's going to be wireless. With this mini form factor, you get a 75% layout, so dedicated arrow keys and a function row, and they decided to add a rightmost column. This layout is relatively standard, and that's a good thing to see. And speaking of that, I want to start with the things I like about it, and its wireless implementation is likely its best feature. You get a bolt dongle for lag-free, reliable, and no-fuss connection, but you also get Bluetooth support with up to 3 devices. Not only that, the power management of this keyboard is top-notch, so much so that Logitech advertises 10 months of battery life with the LEDs off. This is unheard of in the wireless mech world, and I believe this is the reason why you'd consider this specific keyboard over other low-profile mechs. It's far from the best value for your money, but the overall wireless experience is some of the best. With other similar keyboards from brands such as Keychron, NuFi, or ACO, the wireless experience is usually imperfect. The battery life usually lasts a week or so, the battery drains much quicker if you leave it on overnight. Even if you turn off the LEDs, they might come back on next time you turn on the keyboard, and the auto sleep feature usually comes with some lag when the keyboard wakes up. All of that considered, the Mx Mechanical Mini is the first wireless mechanical keyboard I've tested that I would actually consider daily driving wirelessly. Stakes are high at work, and I don't need a flaky keyboard. And for that reason alone, most of the wireless keyboards I've used were actually wired. Even though it's not the intent of this keyboard, I tried gaming with it using the Bolt receiver and I couldn't tell there was any latency or jitter. I also tested Bluetooth for general typing and the connection was super stable. Switching between devices is also quite fast, making it a great option if you work on multiple devices at once. And to the LEDs, they're offered in white only and they automatically turn on and off based on hand placement and available light in the room. I would honestly keep them off if possible as they do reduce the battery life considerably, but still a nice addition. You can also manually change the brightness level and pick from a couple available animations with the function and the volume down key. Another great perk of this keyboard is its software. VIA support would be cool, but the Logitech Option Plus software is well polished and easy to navigate. With it, you can remap a lot of the function keys and the rightmost column. Some of the default functions are pretty cool, however, such as the emoji keyboard shortcut and the mic mute key. You can also change the keyboard's core settings, such as permanently turning off backlighting. Another thing I like is the typing experience. While it doesn't rival high-profile custom mechanical keyboards, it is as satisfying as it gets for a low-profile board. On this unit, I went with the quiet tactile switches, in other words, browns. These are effectively Kale Chalk V2 switches with Cherry MX stems and they have decent travel at over 3mm in total for a pretty good compromise overall. However, these are soldered in and thus not hot swappable. And that brings us to what I hate about this keyboard. First, the keycaps. These are some of the worst keycaps on a low profile board that I've tried. Don't get me wrong, they look great, kind of similar to Keychron's, but similarly to Keychron's low-profile keycaps, the quality is unfortunately not here. But what was I expecting exactly from a big brand keyboard maker? So yeah, these are ABS with the color and legend simply coated on top. This coating will shine on most commonly used keys, and eventually legends will wear out too. The keys themselves are also pretty thin. I mean, look at that spacebar. NuFi's low-profile keycaps are much better in comparison. They're thicker, made from PBT to prevent shine, and the coloring of the keys and legends are dye sublimated, so they won't wear out easily. Surely there's a way to replace these keycaps, right? Logitech were smart enough to use a relatively standard layout. They even use switches and stabilizers with cherry-style stems. So I just replaced the keycaps with NuFi's, and we call it a day, right? Well, no. Logitech decided to use non-standard stabilizer width, and thus standard keycaps don't fit. Only theirs do. And that is just for the spacebar. All other stabilized keys are perfectly standard, and that is so frustrating. And part of me thinks this is all a plan to have people replace their keyboards sooner than later, because it doesn't look as great a couple years in. You'll see wear on those keycaps before you need to charge the keyboard. Think about that. So in conclusion, I would get this keyboard solely for its great wireless support. The 10-month battery life is unheard of in the low-profile mech world. It's the first mechanical keyboard that I'm happy to use wirelessly, and I will likely keep it for a while on my desk, as the wireless look does look pretty clean. But if you don't care about having a perfect wireless experience and a polished software, then NuFi's area line of keyboards is better on pretty much all other aspects. The keycaps are higher quality and standard, switches are hot swap, it can be used wired but also with a dongle and over Bluetooth, it has RGB lighting, and all of that at a lower price. Alright, I think that's all I had to say. Make sure you subscribe for more keyboard and desk setup content. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next video.